In 1 Nephi 7, we read about Lehi's family being commanded to return to get Ishmael's family to join them in their journey to the Promised Land. Most people don't realize how important Ishmael's family is because the only reason the text gives is because Lehi's sons need to raise seed in the Promised Land. But Ishmael's family was actually essential for the fulfillment of multiple biblical prophecies. In this video, I'll explain how a detail from the last 116 pages about Ishmael's family saves one prophecy and fulfills two others. Latter-day Saints believe that Ezekiel 37, verses 16 to 20, is a prophecy about two records, or sticks, that would come forth in the future and become one record: the stick of Judah, or the Bible, and the stick of Joseph, or the Book of Mormon. But a careful reading of this prophecy creates a problem. In verse 16, it specifically says that the second stick will not just be from the seed of Joseph, but specifically from Ephraim. Quote, "Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim." Remember, Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Instead of just being counted as the tribe of Joseph, they became separate tribes and were counted as part of the tribes of Israel. So what's the problem? In Alma 10:3, we learn that Lehi's family is from the tribe of Manasseh, not Ephraim. There is no other mention of any other tribes of Israel in the Book of Mormon except for one implied reference to Mulek, who would have been from the tribe of Judah. Without Ephraimites, we have a problem because the Book of Mormon can't fulfill the stick of Ephraim prophecy. You could say it's the stick of Joseph, but not the stick of Ephraim. Thankfully, the prophet Joseph Smith shared the key to saving the prophecy. He taught that the last 116 pages contain the genealogy of Ishmael's family. Ishmael and his family were of the lineage of Ephraim. If we had those 116 pages of manuscript which Martin Harris got away with, you would know all about it, for Ishmael's ancestry is made very plain therein. We know that Nephi's family marries into Ishmael's family. All their children would have been from both Ephraim and Manasseh, which means the Book of Mormon can be and is the stick of Ephraim. Not only that, this key from the last 116 pages tells us about two other prophecies that are also fulfilled. In Genesis 48:16, Israel is blessing Joseph and prophesies that his two sons will grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth, meaning they will grow together into a multitude. Clearly, the two tribes grew together through the union between the two families and became a multitude. In the same prophecy in verse 19, Israel says that Ephraim's seed will become a multitude of nations. Without Ishmael, there would have been no Ephraim in the Promised Land to become the two different nations of the Lamanites and the Nephites. A salient point to remember is that the majority of the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh were carried away and scattered with what we call the lost 10 tribes, around 722 BC. Lehi and Ishmael's families were part of a group from those two tribes who had moved to the area of Jerusalem, perhaps to be closer to the temple, before the 10 tribes were carried away. The fact that these two families were remnants from two different lost tribes, and that Ishmael was willing to leave with a family from a different tribe, shows God's hand in all of this. The destruction of Jerusalem in 587 BC likely destroyed or scattered any remaining remnants of these tribes. So God preserved both these tribes and fulfilled both the Ezekiel and Genesis 48 prophecies through Ishmael and Lehi's families. Another interesting note is that Israel also prophesied in Genesis 49:22 that Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. This prophecy is also fulfilled by these two families running over the wall, meaning the ocean, and going to a promised land where they became fruitful. And that's how the 116 pages save the stick of Joseph prophecy and fulfill the Genesis 48 and Genesis 49 prophecies as well. And now you understand. Pass it on.